Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another Cold War Zombies video. And for this one, I want to talk about the director that we saw at the end cutscene for Toten, the new Zombies survival round-based map that just got released probably like 2 days ago. So this is going to have some spoilers in it. So if you didn't see the end cutscene or you want to do the Easter egg for yourself, don't watch this because it's obviously going to talk and show a lot of stuff about the end cutscene. So if you want to see that first, go ahead and do that, and then come back and watch this. It is pretty much a big surprise kind of cliffhanger at the end, so it's definitely worth watching the cutscene. I think the Easter egg's a little bit more difficult this time around, so for me, I don't mind just watching the cutscene because it pretty much is going to be almost impossible to complete the Easter egg. Sometimes you do get into good public lobbies and good players and stuff like that, and you're going to be able to complete the Easter egg. But for me, I don't really have time to keep replaying the Easter egg. I'd rather just go high rounds and stuff like that, anyways. But like I said, sometimes once in a while you get into really good lobbies. So with all that being said, again, I'm going to talk about the director and who I think it is. I don't usually do theories as I tell people, I kind of more likely do solves in the past, but I want to do more theories and encourage more people to do theories. Again, I know it's tough because as soon as you do a theory, somebody wants to kind of debunk it or discredit you. Because everybody I felt in the past, especially that they're young, they want to look like the best Easter egg solver in front of the zombies community or the Treyarch devs. I just kind of do this now. I'm like, hey, this is a cool little theory slash what I would want, and I think it might actually be leading up to something. I do have a couple of theories going on, but this is going to be more specifically about the director. So again, at the end of the Easter egg cutscene, you see that the director is sitting in a chair, and he has a coffee mug that he's sipping out of that says "Best Director Ever" or "Best Director Ever," and he's looking at Max's and some of the stuff that they just went through. It's some old videotape, I guess, hinting at maybe that happened a while back or recently, and he's updating some files. So again, we're just gonna pretty much, because nobody knows who it is. Some people have theories. I'm gonna agree with some of the theories and then show some of my ideas that I would have. So what we know so far, as we can see as fact, is that he has a white, pretty much like a white button-down shirt with the um, sleeves rolled up. He has a watch on his right hand, and he's drinking from a Requiem mug that says "Best Director Ever." We don't know what type of pants he's wearing. He might be wearing like black pants or dark gray. So the main theory that people have, which I'm gonna subscribe to it, is the fact that it could be Hudson. With some, I don't think, well, you can't see his face, but it could be Hudson, and Hudson's a multiplayer and campaign character from the Black Ops series. He was in Black Ops 4. I believe you could have used him in Blackout as a character, but he's in campaign. I believe he works for the CIA and shows Mason and Woods around, or works with them. He's actually in the new campaign for Cold War. I started playing it just to get a better idea of what's going on, especially with Warzone. Some of that's gonna mix up with zombies, or it has mixed up with zombies. So I wanted to get a little bit more familiar with some of the characters. I have a general idea who they are, but again, most people are thinking because we have Kravchenko, we have Weaver, now might have Hudson as the director. Some people have other ideas or wondering where Eddie is. Again, I don't really try and be hypocritical and debunk or ridicule or make fun of anyone or their theories. But I'm gonna give my ideas who I think it is, which might actually still be connected or give more proof or facts that it could be Hudson. The one thing I do want to point out first is that Hudson, in most of the photos I've seen online, wears his watch on the left hand. Don't know exactly if it's the same exact watch. It looks like it could be. So I again, hopefully don't want to put any pressure on Treyarch saying like, hey, you put the watch on the wrong hand. The watch is supposed to be on his left hand. In most pictures and game clips, you'll see that Hudson wears his watch on the left hand, which if you're left-handed, you wear your watch on your right hand, and if you're right-handed, you wear your watch on the left hand. It's just the most comfortable position or hand to use it on. So this would assume that Hudson is right-handed. The person that is sitting in the chair, the director, wears his watch on the right hand, and that might lead that he is left-handed. That's just a side note, and being that I'm left-handed, that's something that points or jumps out to me. Hopefully it's not an oversight by Treyarch and they accidentally put the watch on the wrong hand, or not realizing how important it is to watch it, what hand you wear your watch on, that the right-handed people wear it on the left and the left-handed people wear it on the right. And keep a note of the Director's Cup. That's something that is probably going to be really important also. Again, here's another one. This is, I think, is a more updated Black Ops 4 version from Blackout and I think multiplayer. Don't know necessarily if he was in campaign. Again, it's a whole, looks like a little bit different of a watch, but he wears it on the left hand. Same exact outfit, rolled up sleeves and a white shirt. So what I'm thinking, and that was kind of what the main theory was, my idea would be, or kind of lead to it, is the fact that, and there's so much stuff that goes on in this photo, it's hard to kind of make out, because I don't know if he has like Dr. Monty type gloves on, because it looks like he might, but my theory or idea or what I would want is the fact that, what if Hudson was a director and somehow he went into the dark ether and got corrupted, and then became this guy that we see in Shadows of Evil, which never got an explanation or solve or anything from Treyarch. But what if they're finally trying to again tie up loose ends and explain who the guy was in this poster? Again, if just in case you're not familiar, this was kind of like the, I'm gonna call it like the Ultimate Collector's Edition. You got this like poster with it, or type of a card or something like that. So that would be really cool if they decided to tie up loose ends and explain to us who the guy was in Shadows of Evil. Maybe a corrupted Hudson that went into the dark ether by accident, or maybe he just wanted to be more powerful, or maybe something happened, we'll see, and he went into the dark ether, came out as this guy. So that, I'm just going to say, is one theory, or kind of ties in or helps support the theory that it's Hudson. So that's that. The next one, and this is who it is, and might start leading into another theory. Plus, it was a solve from back then, how this character, who may or may not be Hudson, was hinting at Hellraiser's character, who this guy is called Frank. I think his name is Frank Darabont, if I'm not mistaken. So he has the same, and this is Hellraiser. It's a 1980s movie, and it's basically what Shadows of Evil was based on. That we have like a summoning key and a couple other things, and this cube is underneath the map in Shadows of Evil. It's called the puzzle box, and you configure it in different ways, and you can kind of summon certain people with this puzzle box. And you got to keep in mind too, if you see the movie, or if you have seen the movie, or you plan on to seeing it, these characters, which I think they're called like Deadites, if I'm not mistaken, look so much like the keepers that we get in Shadows of Evil. When you pick up certain items, the keepers spawn in. And it's funny too, at the end it says, and it's from Clive Barker, and a lot of Clive Barker stuff, as we know, especially in Black Ops 4, Black Ops 2 with Mob of the Dead, it looks like it's inside Clive Barker's universe, or the Hellraiser universe. If you're not familiar with it, Zombies vs. Gladiators was a Clive Barker movie that he was going to make, but he ended up scrapping it, and they ended up turning it into 9, I believe. I guess Treyarch liked the idea, and they're a big fan of Clive Barker, and there's a lot of Clive Barker already in the Zombies universe. But it says, I have seen the future of horror, and his name is Clive Barker. And that was a quote by Stephen King, which is actually kind of important right now in the Cold War story, but I'm not going to go too much into that. Again, like, I like doing theories, and I still, at the same time, want people to do their own research and look into stuff. But that quote, especially by Stephen King, is actually super important right now in Cold War. Again, you see the character on the left, which is Frank. I'm not going to go too much into the story because we already got that in Shadows of Evil, but it might just kind of give like the background story of how we kind of ended up maybe in Shadows of Evil and stuff like that. So here's the character again. He wears like a gray suit in this one. This is just like a collectible figurine. And at one point, it's kind of the same story of I don't know if they're gonna do the same with Max's and Samantha Max's. Maybe she thinks that Maxis is stuck in the dark ether, and in Hellraiser, um, their dark ether, let's say, is considered to be hell. And he tricks them into same story, same exact story. He tricks the character whose name is Christine into letting him out of hell, or or what he's describing as hell, and maybe he's just describing it as hell so he can come back into the regular normal world or whatever. So I wonder if they're gonna do the same thing, almost the same thing that happened with Valentina, where Valentina got tricked. Um, but maybe the same thing with Samantha. Maybe she's gonna get tricked into thinking that Dr. Maxis, or maybe Richtofen or Eddie is stuck in the dark ether, and it's not. It's somebody else pretending to be them. Again, this is all going to tie in pretty well and support some of the theories that are going on. And that's Christine on the left, I believe is her name. And that's her uncle on the right, who is the same exact character from the Shadows of Evil poster. And you have to do rituals in Hellraiser to get them to go back to their normal way of life or normal body. It's a little bit complicated, but that's kind of a rough idea of it. And these are the Deadites, like I explained, that looks like the Keepers. I think they even float like the Keepers do, if I'm not mistaken. But they're all a little bit different. I'm going to use my mouse real quick. So this one on the left definitely looks like a Keeper, because the Keeper has stuff like that, I think, behind them or in front of them. Has that like circular looking thing if you go look at Shadows of Evil. So another idea, so that was kind of like the Hellraiser theory, that it's going to probably tie into Shadows of Evil and support the Hudson theory. But another one now ties into how maybe World War II zombies, IW zombies, and Ether Treyarch zombies are all in the same universe. So my last theory would be, what if the dark ether is like another dimension where all these horror villains live? Because when we got the Haunting of Verdansk, we got some movie characters that came out of maybe the dark ether, let's say, and invaded Verdansk or invaded Warzone. So what if, like, the Haunting of Verdansk 2021, more movie character villains come out of the dark ether and invade Verdansk again, and one of them being Frank from Hellraiser. So this could be Treyarch. I mean, we're only a couple months away, like 2 or 3 months away from Halloween. But what if this is Treyarch's way of starting to hint that, like, some of these movie characters are going to start coming out of the dark ether and start invading Verdansk again? Because, and it's going to be the most profitable story or idea for Call of Duty and Activision, is people love movie characters, and it's always been in the DNA or backstory of zombies and in Call of Duty. So what if, like, I should have probably made like a mock one. So instead of Texas Chainsaw, Boris Karloff, and Saw, what if we get like Hellraiser, Back to the Future, and I don't know what else, maybe something Terminator, since those are kind of already in Cold War, some of those storylines. So what if this kind of wraps all that up? We get like 3 new villains coming out of the dark ether and invading Verdansk, or maybe they'll do 6 this year. Where like, and that kind of helps prove that this is all based in a movie world, or the Dark Ether is a movie world. That all those characters kind of like Willard Wyler, and that leads to the next thing. They had this same idea a couple years ago with Willard Wyler's Halloween Scream, and it was a whole. I think it was like movie inspired and stuff like that, or a couple challenges. Um, and I guess Scream being like Scream the movie and stuff like that. But this would be a perfect setup also, or theory, that it all kind of jives together and explains everything. And I tell people, solve, something's a solve when it's like the most clever, best idea, because that's all Treyarch does. They come up with these like really great ideas. I'm like, wow, I never really even thought that would happen, but that's a really good idea. They're really clever when it comes to Easter eggs and stuff like that. So this could all tie in. Like, it would be awesome if the Dark Ether is like a movie world, and it kind of bleeds into Verdansk, The Haunting of Verdansk 2021, and we get more of Treyarch stuff in there. And again, the last thing is the director's cut, the mug in the front. So that could have hinted also that we're going to get a director's cut in Cold War. I don't know what perks they would give us. Maybe all your perks or something like that. You don't have to spend. I think you start with all your perks, or you just start with like a ton of money, and you can open all the doors and stuff like that. So that would be really cool if they did another director's cut super Easter egg. Maybe you eventually have to fight Willard Wyler, or you have to fight Mephistopheles again. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, the last thing was going to be that his mug, the director has on his cup, could be hinting at a director's cut coming. But it would be cool if it was like the Dark Ether ended up being like, when we go there, we see like movie characters or some type of like movie scene. I know we've been there before, so we can't really, unless we go to a different part of the Dark Ether or something like that, and it shows more movie characters are there. Again, it all kind of jives together. It would be like a great idea, and it would tie in again to the Shadow of Evil's poster that never got solved. That maybe Hudson ended up going to Dark Ether, got corrupted by the One, or maybe was or became the One. But anyways, those are just some ideas. I'll see you guys later.